Hi, I'm Bo. I'm a software engineer on ARCore, Google's platform for building augmented reality experience. I'll be showing you how to implement face effect using the Augment Face API in ARCore with the Unity engine. Links to Android and iOS version of this video can be found in the description. Augmented Face doesn't require special hardware, such as a depth sensor. Instead, it uses phone's camera and machine learning to provide 3 pieces of information in real time, synchronized with the camera feed. First, a center pose for a face, which helps you do things like render a hat. Second, region poses, which are useful for placing assets on or near the forehead or nose. And third, a 468-point dense 3D face mesh, which allow you to paint detailed texture that accurately follow facial movement. So pretty cool, right? Now let's see how you can utilize the Augmented Face feature in ARCore to build your own app using Unity engine. You will need to download the ARCore Unity SDK from our GitHub release page and import it into your Unity project as a custom package. To set up your project for ARCore development, make sure to set the Unity target platform to Android and enable ARCore supported checkbox in Unity player settings. Next, let's see how to enable ARCore in your own Unity scene. First, delete the main camera and add ARCore device prefab into the scene. You will notice that the prefab contains 2 game objects. The ARCore device game object uses ARCore session component to manage the ARCore session lifecycle. An ARCore session can be paused by disabling this component. The first-person camera game object serves as the main camera of the scene. ARCore automatically updates its transform each frame based on the device movement. It is also configured to render the camera image on the screen. Now let's set up the ARCore session. First, create a new ARCore session config assets inside the project window. Let's call this Augmented Face Session Config. Next, select the session config asset. Disable plane finding and light estimation, as those features are not compatible with Augmented Face yet. Then, set the Augmented Face mode to mesh. Now, this session config is set up for Augmented Face. Select the ARCore device game object and drag the session config asset into the session config field. Once you have done that, you will notice there is an error at the bottom saying Augmented Face mode.mesh requires front-facing camera. This is true, so let's change the device camera direction to front-facing on ARCore session component. With the current scene set up, the app will start the ARCore session and render the front camera image on the screen. Even though it is set up to detect face in the camera viewport, we can't see any effects because we haven't put anything there yet. Now let's add the example Fox effect from the ARCore Unity SDK to your app. First, let's create a root game object called Face Attachment to hold our Fox Face Effect game objects. Next, let's add the 3D meshes from the Fox effect and configure it to update with the face regions. Drag the Fox sample FBX to create an instance inside the face attachment object. This FBX contains Fox ears and nose models, which are connected to a predefined face rig. This makes sure those models are always attached to the face regions. You can create similar face assets using the Fox sample FBX and the Kinetical Face Mesh FBX in ARCore Unity SDK as a reference. Now, add the ARCore Augmented Face Rig component to the Fox sample game object and check the autobind checkbox. With autobind enabled, this component will automatically connect to the Augmented Face object detected by ARCore and update its face rig using face region poses. Next, let's add the Fox Face texture overlay. Inside the face attachment object, create a new game object called Face Texture. Add the ARCore Augmented Face Mesh Filter component and check the autobind checkbox. With autobind enabled, this component will automatically connect to the detect face and generate a 3D face mesh. Here, we want to use the face mesh to render a texture on the face. So let's add the mesh renderer component and set it to use the Fox face material. Now, build and run the app on an ARCore compatible Android phone. You will see that the Fox face effect is overlaid on your face. Now you have everything you need to get started with ARCore Augmented Face in Unity. You will be able to use your own assets to create custom face effect. For more information about this tutorial and ARCore in general, you can check out our sample app source code and documentation in the description below. We can't wait to see what you build and hope you share it with using the ARCore hashtag. Thank you for watching.